Are they going to prosecute the corrupt DOJ officials or not? That's the question I want to consider. And there are only two important questions here. That's one of them. Are these people going to go to jail, the corrupt DOJ and FBI officials that use their law enforcement powers to try to affect and interfere with an election, first by exonerating Hillary Clinton, and secondly, by trying to smear or entrap Trump in a crime that they could use to claim impeachment against him. These are the only two issues that are important, besides the other issue, the other battlefield, which is public opinion and how it affects the elections. Those are the two battles that are going on. So I have already done some monologues on this subject, and I want to integrate them into this one, and which is an update. The first one was the questions that Trump should ask Sessions. Now, you have the problem right now is that you have a DOJ Attorney General who is out to lunch. He's AWOL. He's not paying any attention to any of these most important issues that are going on in the country. The most important issue is law enforcement being used to affect political elections? If it is, then whoever's in power and controls law enforcement, or is out of power like now and controls law enforcement, can undermine the other candidate and get their own candidate elected. And that's a banana republic. So there's these two important battles going on. The first is, are these people going to be locked up or not? And the second is public opinion. And the crux of the issue is you have an attorney general who is not there. He's not doing his job. Now, I did a monologue on the questions that need to be asked the attorney general to see if the problem is that he is not considering any of these issues that are so important to the country. It's possible that he has just blanked everything out. That monologue is titled, Trump Should Ask Sessions the Following Questions. There's very, very many important questions there that he should ask, like when did this whole investigation, this covert CIA investigation start? And what was the criminal predicate? So right from the beginning, you have, was there a spy or not? Did they hire people to get information on Trump, to get informants from his campaign? Did they pay them? I mean, there's so many questions. I have made a list of them in the other monologue. But that's the first thing you can do in this case. If that doesn't work, I presented a specific plan, which is you can bring Sessions in after he's had a chance to consider these issues and you've asked him these questions, and ask him if he's willing to do his job. Is he willing to fire Rosenstein, who shouldn't be part of this, leading this investigation, because he is involved? He's one of the parties. He signed the FISA application. And see what happens. If he isn't willing, then you should ask him if he's willing to resign. If not, you should fire him. But before you fire him, you have to wait until the Congress goes on recess so that you can have 100 FBI agents ready to go in, and you can name a recess appointment of an attorney general and have his people with this, once he has all these ducks lined in order, go in there and confiscate all of those materials that are on Mueller's computer, Mueller's cell phones, Rosenstein's computer, Rosenstein's cell phones, Strzok, Page. Well, Page is out of there by now, but you can get Orr and all the agents, all these prosecutors that are Democrats and trying to smear Trump and get some evidence on him, and then take all that material to an undisclosed location and start revealing the facts so you can win the other battle, which is the public opinion battle. Get the facts out there every day, make a briefing of what you found, what was the basis for the whole investigation, this FBI special investigation, like for under the Patriot Act. I mean, my goodness, this is just one more example of what happens when you have a Patriot Act. I had said from the beginning it would be abused, and here's a good example. It was abused. So right now, there has been a redacted FISA application put out, and the battlefield is between the people who say that this redacted FISA application, which can be less redacted if Trump goes in there and declassifies it in every aspect. It doesn't affect a special agent, which it wouldn't, because hardly any of these people are exposed to dangers in foreign countries. None of them. This is all surveillance of Carter Page, an American citizen who was surveilled without any actual crime, any evidence, based on a warrant that used information from a former British spy who got in contact with Russian sources and were fed to the DOJ and the FBI through a contact, through Orr, whose wife Nellie gave him the information, and she worked for GPS, Fusion GPS, and that organization was paid for by Hillary Clinton and the DNC, and all that information was not disclosed to the judge and just put in a footnote which was oblique that really didn't say exactly what happened, and none of that information was verified like it's required. That's one of the questions that you had to ask Sessions. Did they verify that information from that dossier with all that sleazy material? Did they verify where it came from? Comey said he didn't know where it came from. He didn't care. As long as it said horrible things about Trump, that's all he cared about. And so this is what you have to do now. Right now, it's incredible that you have a Republican, which was trotted out on the weekend news shows, Marco Rubio, totally betrayed the Republican Party and the Republic, and of course undermined Trump by saying that he was totally okay with this FISA application to investigate Carter Page. Now, if these investigators from the FBI thought that Carter Page was a spy and he had just been hired by the Trump campaign, why didn't they notify Trump and say, look, you have a spy in your campaign. He's controlled by the Russians. He's a Russian agent. And in that case, Trump would either fire him or he could just keep him checked and watch what he did. And so that would be the end of the threat to the Republic. But they didn't care about any threat to the Republic. They cared about getting dirt on Trump. Now, Marco Rubio never answered, well, once you get a camera on Carter Page, you can hear what's going on in the campaign. And then they leaked all the information that they got about other people, which was the purpose right from the beginning, to smear and undermine Trump. Now, if they thought Carter Page was a spy, how come he did interviews voluntarily and continues to do them publicly? And they never accused him of being a spy. He's still walking around. If he was a spy, he should be prosecuted. They didn't care about prosecuting Page. They knew he wasn't a spy. They had interviewed him many times. He goes in voluntarily, answers all their questions, and they don't prosecute him. Why did they get the warrant to make the application with unverified information, which were they supposed to verify? Well, now it was useful to surveil Trump. Trump said he was being wiretapped, and everybody laughed. Well, he was being wiretapped. He was being surveilled by his own government, not because of any threat of a foreign power, but because they wanted to get the dirt on Trump to undermine him. Now, I suggest that you watch the other monologue that I did, which is how Trump can fire Mueller or get rid of him without firing him directly. There I detail exactly how you do it. And these are the two battlefronts. Either these guys that or use their position to violate American rights like Carter Page, to try to change an election, the results of an election, in two ways: by exonerating Hillary Clinton when there was clear evidence that she committed crimes, and once they did that, by trying to smear Trump and undermine his political capacities and interfere with his governance, which is what they've been doing. So I'd like you to check out those others if you want. This is an update on what's going on. The battlefield is there. The battlefield right now is there's a redacted FISA warrant, which a never-Trumper who was insulted by Trump, and that's one of the reasons why you shouldn't insult people when you're debating them, Marco Rubio, has sided with the Democrats and claimed that this Carter Page application was reasonable. So he thinks it's reasonable to get government surveillance of an opposing candidate and then leak all this information to the public so that one party can use the government to affect the results of an election and or undermine a president. He thinks that? Well, it's interesting, how come they never prosecuted Carter Page before? Well, because they knew he wasn't a spy and he cooperated. It doesn't make any sense. And the only reason why Marco Rubio decided to be a tool for the Democrats was his hate for Trump. It's obvious. And his hate for the Russians, which apparently eclipses all rational thinking. So let me know what you think about this plan and about these two battlefields. Do these people get locked up? Who will win the public opinion battle, which is going to affect the elections? That's the whole thing. Politics is a blood sport. And more than ever now, because the people that get in power will try to put the other people in jail. That's the whole point. So if the Republicans are in power right now, and Trump is in power, he better know what he's dealing with. The gloves are off, and it's all about affecting the elections, these midterm elections, and then Trump's election. And the time to get all this information out is now, before the elections. And so the Democrats have their allies, the mainstream media. They constantly are distorting the facts, ignoring the facts, and working as an arm of the Democratic Party. And so, but Trump has the presidency, and he can implement the plans that I just outlined. So let me know what you all think. Thank you.